Welcome back, and it's agriculture and sugar essentially that we're talking about. And joining us now to take that conversation forward is Nastari from Datagro, and we have with us Mr. Bruno Boszczowski from ED&F. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. I'll come to you first, Bruno. We've seen international supplies kind of increase, but the markets really seem to be moving in a huge way in sense of ethanol as well. How are you looking at the global supplies as they stand?
So when we speak about sugar, we have been in the past 5 years or so through tight conditions in the market, small surpluses or small deficits. Then Brazil jumped in, right, bring a lot of sugar, and in the moment when India and Thailand wasn't there. So now, right now, we're going to a new challenge. The Brazilian crop looked good for the time being, but we know that there will be an impact in the second part of the year because of the dryness that Brazil observed in good part of the past 6 months. So having said that, the Brazilian crop should end earlier, and then we see very good rains for India, right, which is going to be just by the time Brazil is leaving the market, India is coming with plenty of rains. Nevertheless, we expect a lower area for India, given bad rains in the past year, and Thailand with some recovery. So all in all, I think we need to understand better how bad will be the tail of the Brazilian crop before saying anything. For the time being, I'll say the market is neutral, but if Brazilians should be worse than expected, then we can probably go towards a surplus deficit condition supportive for prices.
So while, of course, the fundamentals are one part of it, Bruno, but the other also is the speculative activity, and we did see that in the prices.
So yeah, that's the thing. That's an important point. So they have been changing a lot from small net surplus to small net deficits, and that makes it kind of hard because they have a strong hand, and whenever, depending on their directions, market can go in a short time of period from one to the other direction. Right now, they have they were starting to have a net long condition, but then again they returned to a deficit condition. Where they will go now, that will certainly help driven the prices, right?
It will, absolutely. Guy, how would you look at India from outside India? Will India export? Will India not export next season?
Very good question. It's all about ethanol in India, in our opinion. This revolution that in place here is impacting the global S&D and trade. And we see the importance of this diversification that is helping to put a price level for the global sugar market in an interesting way, stimulating other regions to recover their productions. At this stage, I believe ethanol will be strong, and this is something that all the other regions are looking after for sure.
Would you say India has a lot to learn from Brazil, especially on how to balance their sugar and ethanol resources?
Yes, this is a topic that we have been discussing the past day here. When Brazil built the ethanol program, Brazil was alone. The other countries like India, Southeast Asia, many other countries that are trying to develop their ethanol programs can look what was good in Brazil, pick the good things, and leave the bad ones. With this is the most advantage to build now comparing when it was 50 years ago. And zero barrier to transfer this knowledge because we are all a bunch of sugarcane producers. And that we can share this experience, and for sure biofuels is the fastest, easiest and cheapest way to fight climate change for sure.
How would you look at move forward from here, Bruno, when it comes to from within India? As Guy just said, that yes, from Brazil there's a lot to learn and then a lot to unlearn as well. But for India, given the population, given the fact that we don't have that kind of a surplus in sugar as well, and then we've added grains into the mix also.
Well, I think that's positive, right? The more feedstock you can have, the better. Even Brazil is doing that right now. Brazil is using quite corn to produce ethanol at the same time. So that's an opportunity for the other producers. And especially any country that has a good availability of eggs and is oil dependent or derivative dependent should be looking to that direction. That's the easiest way to improve your commercial balance and also generate employment, right? So why not? And the technology is there. It's not a big thing. It's not a new thing. It's just a fact of a government giving policies and making that happen.
Mm. So if there's one advice that you would want to give to industry, what would that be, Bruno?
Well, for the sugar industry, I mean, I would say that's something the government they need to have a clear speech, and the government and the producers need to be speaking the same language and looking for the same direction. So there has to be a connection, a good connection there, so can both profit, right, and bring advantage for the world. Right now, I think the moment it's for reduction of emissions, controlling CO2, and green energy, and that's the moment for it. And I'm pretty sure not just the Indian government, but the world as a total, the G20, and also United Nations, everybody's trying to make the green energy come. And it's just a matter of sitting together and going for it.
What would you say?
The world is showing to the ethanol producers, biofuels overall, biodiesel, ethanol, the structured long-term demand. In a simple way, people are screaming, say, produce ethanol with a flag and biodiesel because we need this to try to solve the climate change. So it's a huge opportunity. So demand is structured in the long term. This is our view at Datagro. And countries like India can surf this tsunami, not a wave. It's just a matter of being able to do it. So as Bruno mentioned, government should provide a stable environment for the private sector to fulfill their challenge.
Okay. Now, one final round of questions, and this is on the prices front. So coming to you first, Bruno, what's your sense for the rest of 2024 on what way are the global sugar prices headed? So
the way you're seeing the market, we believe the market's neutral for the time being, right? We may have some support if Brazil ends to finish the crops earlier as expected, so that during that transition between Brazil ending the crop and the North Hemisphere starting the crop, you may have some stress conditions and the market can get higher. If the tail of the crop of Brazil ends to be worse than everybody's expecting, then it's front supportive. It's going to be right now, right? But all in all, for the time being, I will be neutral. And the other point is if India decides to export, then the market will probably feel that. So in both the scenarios, where would you see a support come in? I don't see, we don't work with India exporting. We don't see that happening. We believe that's all going to be a function of the tail of the Brazilian crop. What's your sense?
Yes, at Datagro, we always try to find who is the marginal exporter. And today is Brazil, in our opinion, which is in the range of 15.5 to 16 cents. So the opportunity cost is in this range. And because it's also our view that the market is stable, any change in exchange rate, for example, in Brazil or in other place can change price. So the price difference between sugar and ethanol in a Brazilian perspective reach 1,100 points, and today is 200. So they're getting back close to the Brazilian opportunity cost of selling sugar, which is around 16 cents.
All right, and that's where do you see a support come in also? You don't see prices anywhere below that?
Taking that India is not going to export and come back strong in ethanol, exchange rate in Brazil can impact a lot.
So if India does export, even if there's a minimal...
Then the impact is huge.
Yeah, the sentiment was really...
Because it's equal, como it's more or less neutral, anything ups and down change completely the market.
So as of now, the understanding is that India perhaps won't export, and we may not see the prices decline too much.
Yeah.
Thank you, gentlemen, so much for coming in by and talking about prices, fundamentals, and, of course, analyzing on what's really happening in the international markets. Appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.